I've titled this BFF. For all of us older guys, we probably don't know what that means. I'm sure the younger people will tell us best friends forever, best friends forever, best friends forever. BFF. It's one of those things that I first heard the term. Some mother was telling me about her child graduating high school, and all throughout her yearbook, the signing of the yearbook, BFF, 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 best friends forever. It's one of those things that happens when people spend time together. Transitional time, emotional time. Probably a lot like a war buddy, somebody who's gone through it. Best friends forever. The disciples, the witnesses, is martyre, witness. Doesn't mean die, it means witness. We are witnesses. Jesus Christ, His work and His person, and BFF is where I'm going to go. But before I get there, I'm going to read a little bit to you. I won't wear you down with it. I'm going to read a little bit to you, something published online from a lecturer at Hebrew University, Yuval Noah Harari. I'm not saying his name so you can all write emails to him. Published this week. We are told repeatedly these days that we are living in a new and frightening era of post-truth. So when exactly was the halcyon age of truth? In the 1980s, the 1930s, the 18th century. Ever since the Stone Age. Self-reinforcing myths have served to unite human collectives. Indeed, Homo sapiens conquered this planet thanks above all to the unique human ability to create and spread fictions. We are the only mammals that can cooperate with numerous strangers because only we can invent fictional stories, spread them around, and convince millions of others to believe in them. As long as everybody believes in the same fictions, we all obey the same laws and can thereby cooperate effectively. So this can be dug up throughout history. Cooperation among other social mammals, such as wolves and chimpanzees, relies on intimate knowledge of one another, which is why they can never cooperate with large numbers of strangers. Just try cramming 50,000 chimps into Yankee Stadium, Wall Street, or the Vatican. Yet if you put 50,000 humans in Yankee Stadium, Wall Street, or the Vatican, you will get extremely sophisticated networks of cooperation, provided all these humans happen to believe the same stories about baseball, stock markets, or Christianity. Needless to say, the laws of baseball, the laws of the stock market, and the laws of God are all human inventions that exist solely in our own imaginations. But so long as many people share the same imaginary story, they can collaborate very effectively. So anyway, he goes on for 4 pages of it and talks a lot about confirming that there is no confirming empirical evidence. Empirical, it's a word that's used quite a bit in the New Testament, peria. Lead us not into temptation. It's translated temptation. Do not put us to the test. Peria. Do not put us to the experience. It's the human experience. Out of the human experience. And what we have today is a human experience of Jesus Christ. And we have His experience as a witness to the world. And it's a tough witness, and it's in every way it's awesome, and it's a scary, and it's a fear of the Lord type thing that happens to Jesus Christ. It's one of those things that, why such a thing? Why such a thing? And so, the last few weeks I've been talking about the Word of God. That's the bar. It's what's back there, what's behind this, what's this all about, and where's it going? And of course, it's what the scientific method was all about that began in a big way in ancient Greece. What is it really? How can we get there? How can we dig it up? So Jesus Christ, I want to back up a little bit on what I read out of the book of Acts. That He, at the end of that, He commanded us to preach to the people and to testify that He is the one ordained by God as judge of the living and the dead. That ordained is sometimes translated appointed. It's oratio. Get the word horizon. He's really a boundary. And when you have the word judge is kind of interesting because when we think about a judge, we think about the law, the legal system. The judge is trying to separate truth from fiction. The judge is trying to separate behavior, the legal system, the law. The judge is trying to separate that. What we have is that Jesus Christ is appointed. He becomes the boundary, and he becomes the boundary of the living and the dead. That Jesus Christ himself, I think it's up here, I'm the way, the truth, the life, I'm the door. Jesus Christ himself has moved the boundary. It's all about salvation history, and it's all about an awesome work. So I'm going to back up what I've written. That Caesarea, this is Acts 10. In Caesarea there was a man named Cornelius, a centurion of the Italian court. So he's going to be a full-time military man. Sometimes they're part of the militias, but he's probably full-time military. A centurion of the Italian court, as it was called, he was a devout man who feared God, and with all his household, he gave alms generously to the people and prayed constantly to God. One afternoon at about 3 o'clock, he had a vision in which he clearly saw an angel of God coming in and saying to him, Cornelius. He stared at him in terror and said, "What is it, Lord?" He answered your prayers, and your alms have ascended as a memorial before God. Now send men to Joppa. So Joppa is going to be on the Mediterranean. It's going to be on that coast. This is all happens on the coast. For a certain Simon who is called Peter. His lodging was Simon a tanner, whose house is by the seaside. So in the ancient world, the tanners have to live kind of out in the country because I think urine is part of the process of tanning. So they don't really let them live in the city. He's out in the country. When the angel who spoke to him had left, he called 2 of his slaves and a devout soldier from the ranks of those who served him, and after telling them everything, he sent them to Joppa. About noon the next day, as they were on their journey and approaching the city, Peter went up on the roof to pray. He became hungry and wanted something to eat. And while dinner was being prepared, he fell into a trance. He saw heaven open and something like a large sheet coming down, being lowered to the ground by its 4 corners, and in it were all kinds of 4-footed creatures and reptiles and birds of the air. Then he heard a voice saying, "Get up, Peter, kill and eat." But Peter said, "By no means, Lord, for I have never eaten anything that is profane or unclean." The voice said to him again a second time, "What God has made clean, you must not call profane." This happened 3 times, and the thing was suddenly taken up to heaven. Now while Peter was greatly puzzled about what to make of the vision that he had seen, suddenly the men sent by Cornelius appeared. They were asking for Simon's house and were standing by the gate. They called to ask whether Simon, who was called Peter, was staying there. While Peter was still thinking about the vision, the Spirit said to him, "Look, 3 men are searching for you. Now get up, go down, go with them without hesitation, for I have sent them." So Peter went down to the men and said, "I am the one you are looking for. What is the reason for your coming?" They answered, "Cornelius, a centurion, an upright and God-fearing man who is well spoken of by the whole Jewish nation, was directed by the holy angel to send for you to come to his house to hear what you have to say." So Peter invited them in and gave them lodging. The next day he got up and went with them, and some of the believers from Joppa accompanied him. The following day they came to Caesarea. and Cornelius was expecting them, had called together his relatives and close friends. On Peter's arrival, Cornelius met him, falling at his feet, worshipped him, but Peter made him get up, saying, "Stand up, I am only a mortal." So you can read it. But I want to talk a little bit about that kill and eat. It goes all the way back to the scriptures. And on what's called the Passover meal, it's kill and eat. You can read it in, I think, Exodus 12. Somebody can pull it up. It's Exodus 12, and it's going to be the whole people of Israel before they are to leave Egypt. They are all to take a lamb from the flocks on the 10th day. And on the 14th day, they're all to kill it. And it wasn't going to be something that happens apart. It was going to be every family. It was something that was going to be for every family. And so if your family was too small to eat a lamb, you go ahead and join up with another family. But the lamb is to be killed at twilight, and it's supposed to be eaten. So last Thursday night, Maundy, Thursday, we did the Lord's Supper. Mandate. This is my body. This is my blood. Broken. It's going to be more of that kill and eat. And it's going to be something that's only an awesome God, only a terrifying God would do, because why would you do that? It's throughout the scriptures that mankind is in an awful way, and mankind needs the Lord God, and mankind needs to be fed. And mankind needs to be fed something that will sustain life and will change mankind. And Jesus Christ talks about it, John. It's in the Gospel of John that you must eat my flesh and drink my blood. And everybody left that day. And he said to his disciples, "Are you too going to leave?" And I said, "Lord, this is a hard thing." It is a hard thing. But if you were to go all the way back, if you were to go all the way back in time and all the way back, any living animal, they need the energy, they need to kill and eat. And when it's written here that Jesus Christ is going to be the one appointed, or the one ordained, or the boundary of life and death, they're also talking about the full boundaries. That Jesus Christ is the boundary from the beginning and the boundary to the end. And he's going to be the boundary of what is life and what is death. And he's going to be the one that everyone needs to kill and eat. And I'm a city boy. I don't like killing and eating. I do like eating. I do know that growing up in a large family, it was always important to my folks that the children had food to eat. And it's a biblical witness from gospel times and Old Testament times that people are hungry for food, hungry for righteousness, and that people are thirsty for food, for drink, and thirsty for righteousness. And the work of the Lord is going to be an awesome and a terrible thing. And if somebody is just going to take what's written and not dig it out, it's going to be what's called a myth. And the way the ancient world worked, the mythos is going to be the plot. And if you know anything about literature and what is written, there's a lot of plots out there that just aren't very good. They just don't go anywhere. They just don't develop. There's a lot in the Old Testament and the New Testament. It's all part of a plot. And it's all part of a witness. And it's for our benefit. And it's about a terrifying and an awesome God that needs to be feared. But that's really not what it's about. It's about the Son of God who becomes our best friend forever. Because Jesus Christ is going to share himself, he's going to share his work, he's going to share his public ministry with people. And we have everything necessary to process it.